Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service interests and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
actually night. It hasn't. The time of year has now clicked over, and we're getting the night racing under lights. So this should look pretty spectacular. And in the commentary booth, myself, Steve Hoppett, and pushing buttons tonight once again, Kobe Jordan in the production area. So we're going to bring the best pictures to you and get some commentary happening. And once again, we'll see the V8 supercars around the NASCAR Oval right here at Las Vegas. The boys are actually in qualify, so that's a 10-minute open session. And it gives them an opportunity to utilise the draft rather than the single flying lap that we normally have with lone qualifying. And just maybe to get a little bit of an advantage there and improve the starting position on the grid just that little bit more. As we currently watching Craig Roffey, who has won both rounds 1 and 2 back-to-back. And he'll be wanting to get the trifecta on that, get a hat trick. And behind him at the moment on track, Richie Sanchez from the US has been able to make it this week. And good on Richie for being here. He's recently had an operation on his back. So there's been a bit of physio and a bit of health healing there to get done. And he's actually managed to join us tonight. And it's a crappy hour of the morning as well over there. So good on Richie for making the effort. In front of Craig Roffey there, you can see Tony Roffey in the yellow Rogue Motorsport vehicle. And the boys certainly getting out and about there tonight to get some of those lap times in. And some good-looking cars out there. And what looks like it might be a pretty reasonable-sized field tonight. So just wait to see. So far our times are Craig Roffey put in a 30.409, so putting him up on top of the totem pole, with Tony Roffey in behind him there on a 4.96. So pretty close. Richie Sanchez a 30.532. With Perry Anastakis, Phil Otto, Michael Latta, Tristan Koch, Adam St. John from Full Bore Racing, Luke Keamy also from Full Bore, and Brett Campbell there. Adam Malone has not registered a time yet, but we see somebody else off. Pete Matson, a 30.870 up to 6th place there. So still waiting for Adam Malone, Scott McClintock. Andy Barber's with us tonight, as well as Troy Mortensen is in the server, having to sort out some PC issues on his end, so hopefully he's got that sorted and it won't be a problem for him tonight. Scott McClintock and Gary Wellman, those three other last guys waiting to get a time sorted. And that looks like Darren McKenzie out there at the moment, but I can't see. Oh, that's Troy Mortensen, sorry. Yeah, the livery threw me for a minute. Number 83. And we're also waiting on Shannon Wright from Everything Simulated Valve Esports to make an appearance. But he was trying to get some issues fixed with a brand new PC and get himself sorted. And that's obviously taking him a little bit of time before he can actually get that resolved. So let that be a lesson to you out there, boys and girls. Don't build a new PC on race day. And because you can never count on what's going to happen. I can tell you right now from experience, whether it's cars or computers, the shortest jobs take the longest amount of time, I can tell you right now. Number 173, Peter Matson, sitting 4th now with a 30.633. As we hint to LJ, our producer, to grab a mouthful of water because he's choking and coughing in the background there. So, yes, there should be a good one again tonight. As usual, 75 minutes in the V8s around this fantastic track. A bit of a personal favourite here. I've never had any major success. I think my best finish at this track in anything is 7th. And I was actually a number of laps down at the time, but finished 7th. That's about as good as it's gotten for me here, but I do love to run here. I really enjoy this track. It's a great looking track, especially under lights. Looks fantastic. So this is going to be a great broadcast. So if you're out there, stick around for it. And we've got about 4.5 minutes to go before we grid up. We're going to take a quick ad break, honour some sponsors, and see what we can do with generating some cash flow. Back in a minute.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future. If you love the thrill of...
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
And welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing League Summer Series 2024-25. And this is round 3. And 3 rounds left to go to, I believe, Auto Club Charlotte and Daytona. And or Charlotte, then Auto Club, then Daytona, whichever order it may be. But that's the 3 tracks we've got left. And obviously, something everybody's looking forward to this week is that the iRacing Season 1 update for 2025 will be released in a couple of days' time. And that will include the Gen 3 supercars. So everybody's looking forward to getting their hands on that and doing some testing. We will be continuing throughout the summer series with the Gen 2s that we currently use and experimenting and testing with the Gen 3 cars for Season 2, which kicks off early February. And because that's Season 2, because it's a full season, this one is just a summer series to fill in over the Christmas, New Year part of the year. Give people a chance to go to Christmas parties and holidays and that sort of stuff. So, but we've still got a decent turnout tonight. It looks like we've got a 16-car field out there. Shannon Wright has not made it as of yet, and we are about to run out of qualifying. So we will go to a 5-minute warm-up before we grid. But at this point, it looks like Shannon Wright from Everything Simulated has been unable to attend tonight due to that new PC that he put together not being quite ready to rock and roll. But that's all right. I'm sure that Shannon's out there and he'll watch the race with great interest. But he's still got a few minutes to get in during that 5-minute warm-up. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for him and see what he can do with it. As we take a look there at the moment, one of the full bore cars. I think that's Michael Ladder. No, it's Adam St. John. My mistake. And I expect to see a lot of that car tonight. Now, Adam has mixed it up with the front runners more than a couple of times. So we'll see what he can do with it here at this track. Taking a look at Troy Mortensen in the 83 Mustang. Somebody else who had some PC issues. He obviously got them sorted well enough to be in the server tonight and race. And Ryan Andrews has also entered the server now. So another US driver who has managed to get here just in time for the warm-up. So he'll take his place at rear of grid alongside Scott McClintock, I imagine. But at this point, with qualifying done and dusted, we've got Craig Roffey going off pole again. Parry Anastakis also from Rogue on the other position on the front row alongside. Sorry? Yeah, okay. We're going to go to a quick ad. While we grid up. Back in a minute. And welcome back. So we are actually in warm-up at the moment, and the boys are going to take their chance to just get in that last couple of laps, maybe get used to the feel of the car in these cooler night conditions. Richie Sanchez going out to run a couple of laps. Sometimes the drivers will take a chance to refresh drinks and that sort of stuff. Whatever they need to do in the next few minutes, because then they've got 75 minutes of racing ahead of them, and they won't be getting much of a break. Even if there's a caution, they'll tend to pit and then go back out on track. If they're desperate to answer the call of nature, I imagine that they might do a bit of a Greg Murphy, but apart from that, yeah, a quick toilet break's about all they're going to have time for. Otherwise, it's cross the legs and clench the butt cheeks, because we've got 75 minutes in front of us and time waits for no man's urges. So we'll see how we go. 3.5 minutes or just under that of warm-up left, and we'll take a look at the grid very shortly when warm-up is completed. But just to touch on a couple of other things that have been happening around the place, an event that we spoke about for the last couple of races, the Bathurst Clash Nations at Speed was run and won yesterday by Bacon Zelenka, which was... Chris Severa, pardon me. Bacon Zelenka came in second place. And Vincent Crowe third. But yes, so it was run and won. And was a great success. The Gen 7 NASCARs around Mount Panorama, and it showed that the cars do perform well there. They drive well there. They are quite suitable to running around the mountain. And there's talk of it happening again next year. So we'll have to wait and see with bated breath on that one. But it was a fantastic day, fantastic race. Went for around about 3.5 hours. 61 laps at Mount Panorama in NASCARs. But fantastic race, great driving, and there was a fair contingent of Americans, Australians and New Zealanders in it. And Reuben Phelps and those guys from Matty Raymond, Lachlan Aquijo, Matthew Budd, all the guys from SRM distinguished himself pretty well. Until a late incident that caused a blown engine, Lachlan Aquijo was looking very, very good for a podium spot, if not a win. But unfortunately, nosing it into the wall coming up into the cutting at Bathurst is not the best way to go, and cost him an engine, so that sort of ended his day. But fantastic event, and congrats to the organisers, both Kobe Jordan and Troy Mortensen, the brains trust behind that one, and to everybody else involved, everything simulated, Inside Lane Productions, Team Watson Racing setups, Oz Oval, and of course Kenny Powell and the crew from ISCA, iRacing Stock Car Association, who hosted it, and it was fantastic, and everybody was impressed with the way it went. with just a great racing, and it was a reasonable field, and certainly wasn't boring to watch. There was lots happening all the way through, especially at the mountain. You can't snooze for a minute up there, or you miss something. So just taking a look at the way the boys are coming around there. We've got about 30 seconds left in warm-up, and we will take a look at the grid very, very shortly. We'll go to a very quick ad break, come back with the grid. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute. And warm-up's completed back here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're going to take a look at our grid as the boys line up there and get ready for the next 75 minutes. Off pole position, Craig Roffey, and alongside him his partner, his teammate, Parry Anastakis in the 144 car. Off row 2, Tony Roffey and Gary Wellman. So it's a Season 1, Series 1 champion coming off the second row. Rick Sanchez from the US alongside Luke Keamy from Full Bore Racing on row 3. Row 4, Pete Matson and Phil Otto. Great to see Pete and Phil up on row 4 there at the moment. Row 5, and we've got Andy J. Barber and Adam Malone, both from Southern Stars Racing. And those guys are the couple there to watch as they progress through the field. Michael Ladder and Tristan Koch coming off row 6 at the moment. And Adam St. John and Brett Campbell off row 7. And the tail end of the field on row 8. Troy Mortensen and Ryan Andrews. And then I believe we've got Scott McClintock at the rear of field. So Scott will actually impress the hell out of everybody by going from rear of field to the front of the field. You watch. Keep an eye on Scott McClintock, because I got a fair idea that that red and black Commodore Mobile 1 car is going to be one to watch tonight. So Las Vegas under lights, ladies and gentlemen, and the pace car leads them out. Craig Roffey will have control of the field when they come across the start-finish line after the pace car has actually pulled out into the pits. So 75 minutes, and this is exclusive to YouTube. And if you're watching it, why don't you jump in the live chat? You'll need to be a subscriber, and after you've subscribed, if you haven't already, you've got to wait about a minute, and then you can actually take part in the live chat. It's subscribers only, and it's only set to 1 minute. It's free, it costs nothing. And if you hit the like button and show the boys that you're enjoying this race at some point, turn on your notifications, and if you haven't, as I said, subscribed, please do that. And what will happen is it'll help the channel out, it'll help the series out, and it'll make sure that you don't miss anything that we broadcast, videos, live broadcasts, streams, anything at all comes up on Quasi Esports, you'll get notification about it, so you'll miss nothing at all. And there's the pace car pulling off out of the way. Craig Roffey takes control of the field. He's got a teammate next to him and a teammate behind him, and Gary Wellman in that number 45 Simboys Mustang, and he's actually he's looking like he's going to be fighting for the front on this one. Gary gets a good start, but Craig Roffey and Parry Anastakis side by side get a fantastic start for Rogue Sim Sports. And Parry Anastakis drops down, so we've got a 1-2-3 there on the inside line. Now going up to mid-track for the Rogue Sim Sports boys. And Richie Sanchez coming down on the inside line, cuts off the opportunity for two of those Rogue cars. And now side by side with Craig Roffey and Richie Sanchez battling for the lead of this one straight away. Gets the nose across the line first for lap 1. And we've got 1 minute and 14 seconds to go. Probably around about 125 to 130 laps here, ladies and gentlemen. And Craig Roffey right in behind Richie Sanchez. Now, Richie's going to be looking for a fantastic finish here. He's made a great start of it. And Roffey is going to be having to work hard to keep up with him, I've got a feeling. And then we see Parry Anastakis and Tony Roffey on that inside line Boar Rogue Motorsports as well. So Rogue running 2, 3 and 4. And then we've got what looks like a Quantum car sitting in behind that. So that would be, no, Luke Keamy from Full Bore, I believe. Yep, it is, certainly is. And he's actually got Peter Matson on the outside of him in that. Obviously, that's 173. There's no mistaking that number. It's very easy to notice that. And LK on the helmet tells us that's Luke Keamy. We're taking a good look in through the window of the Full Bore Commodore there at the moment. Gary Wellman sitting in behind him there. And we're just... everybody's sort of sorting themselves out at the moment, this first couple of laps. Adam Malone's got a pretty reasonable start, sitting about midfield, and has separated himself from his teammate Andy Barber, who's sitting a few cars further back in the field, as Richie Sanchez continues to lead this one from Craig Roffey, Pariana Starkus and Tony Roffey. But Tony Roffey battling against, looks like Luke Keamy there at the moment. Peter Matson, sorry, and then Luke Keamy, sorry, in behind Tony Roffey, and that's Peter Matson on the outside. So lots of positional changes here. Gary Wellman has dropped back a couple of spots. He's basically going to bide his time and watch. That's what Gary normally does. Adam Malone's pushed his way forward, and we've got lots happening there at the moment. About mid-pack, there's a lot of changes going on. Adam St. John sitting down there on the inside as well. And Phil Otto in that Kingsman Racing Mustang, that red Mustang. As we see a bit of flickering going on in the field there at the moment. That's the, was that number 60 car, I believe, which is Michael Ladder. And he's actually blinking in and out there. So a little bit of a connection issue there for Michael. But just watching to see where everybody is at the moment. And I thought we had Chris Bleakley in the field here at one point, but it appears that he's not actually made it. So that would have been his first race in the series, but looks like Chris has not actually been able to get into the server and make it to the grid tonight. So as we take a look at, I think that was actually Pariana Starkus, but I didn't quite catch it in time. So Richie Sanchez continues to lead this from Peter Matson now. Got his nose in front of Craig Roffey. Roffey on the inside line, Matson around mid-track. But Richie Sanchez continuing to lead this one. He's putting in a hell of a drive here in this first few laps as we go down to our first 5 minutes of racing. So getting a few laps out of the way there at the moment. And we take a look at Adam St. John on the outside. He's actually trailing Gary Wellman around that outside with Phil Otto on the inside. And just a little bit further up the track on the inside line there, we can see Troy Mortensen in the 83 Mustang. And on his outside is Adam Malone from Southern Stars. And Luke Keamy, I believe, is on the outside there at the moment in that purple Commodore from Full Bore Motorsport. And Adam St. John, also from Full Bore, he's on the outside of Michael Latter there at the moment. Of Scott McClintock in the 016. And Andy Barber, strangely enough, dropped back to the rear of the field. So Andy could be playing the long game here. And he's doing a bit of blinking there at the moment as well. So not quite sure what's going on with the connectivity for a couple of these guys tonight, but there's a lot of mixed weather throughout eastern Australia at the moment. So where some of these guys are, they could be in some heavy storm conditions and stuff like that, wreaking havoc with their internet connection. But he's fairly solid there at the moment on screen, but at the rear of field is Andy Barber from Southern Stars, while his teammate is sitting a bit further into that front half of the field. And that's obviously Adam Malone, and there he is, and he's blinking now. Blinking in and out. So Southern Stars blinking like stars at the moment. as we keep an eye on Richie Sanchez side by side, racing for the lead of this one with Peter Matson. And Craig Roffey sitting back there watching what's going to happen with this and waiting for an opportunity. And he's got his teammate Parry Anastakis right behind him. And also on the inside line there, Tony Roffey from Rogue Motorsport. While on the outside, Luke Keamy ahead of Adam Malone, Troy Mortensen and Adamson John. As we continue to take a look at the leaders here with Richie Sanchez getting himself back in front. But Matson's putting up a fight here. He's not letting him go without one. And Richie only just managing to keep the nose of that Mustang number 5 in the front of the 173 Commodore of Pete Matson. And now he's actually managed to get a car length on him. But Matson fighting. It's a bit of a to and fro here. Real arm wrestle at the moment. And they're now 2 by 2 on the second row as well, as Luke Keamy challenges Craig Roffey for third place. And Adam Malone still continues to blink in and out as he's sitting in that front 5. But that would be a very nervous time for those guys in behind him there at the moment. So Troy Mortensen and those guys will be wondering what to do with Adam Malone blinking in and out like that. Luke Keamy on the outside, not knowing where Adam's going to be at any given time. And Troy Mortensen following Luke Keamy, trying to give Adam Malone a bit of a wide berth, because when the car disappears, you just don't know where it's going to pop up. And his view may also be hindered by the fact that he's popped in and out. So he may not even be able to see the other cars around him correctly and could actually change position or location on the track, and that might actually end up being a real problem for some of these guys. So we'll just have to keep an eye on what's going on with Adam and see how he actually manages to fare. He has had these problems before, and usually it sorts itself out. So let's hope that that's going to be the case again tonight, as we clock down to almost 10 minutes at the start of this one at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, as we continue to see Richie Sanchez battling at the front in the lead. But he's got Luke Keamy all over the back of him and Peter Matson on his outside. Troy Mortensen also in that front 4 battling for the money positions at the moment. And Craig Roffey taking up that 5th spot there at the moment. But he's defending against Adam Malone and Adamson John, who are both also wanting a piece of the action on this. We're going to take a quick ad break here at the moment while these boys battle it out. Let's keep an eye on the leaders. And while we're on ad break, and we'll be back shortly.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family.
Yeah, good evening and welcome back. We are at Las Vegas Motor Speedway and we've got our first caution already on about lap 20 after only about 12 minutes of racing. And we've actually going to take a look at this, and I think it involved Adamson John and maybe Brett Campbell. Those guys seem to be carrying a bit of damage after the caution came out. Adamson John's missing the front bar off that Commodore, so we're going to wait and see what happens. This is the replay of what happened to Adamson John. And we're just looking to see maybe what might have happened. I think it's Brett Campbell coming in behind him. And all seems okay at the moment. There's nobody anywhere near Adam. As he is side by side with Craig Roffey there and following Troy Mortensen. And here comes Brett Campbell in the 015 car. Oh, my goodness. Brett Campbell is just simply... Well, I don't know what's actually happened. Something untoward there for Brett Campbell, and he's just jerked the car sideways straight into Adamson John, putting him into the wall. Can't really understand why that's happened or how. We take a look from the inside and Brett Campbell's point of view as he comes down the inside, and yeah, he's actually steered into Adamson John. So, not really sure what's going on there, what's taken place, but the race review will take a look at that and deal with the situation, I imagine. So poor old Adamson John coming off worse for wear out of that one, and no idea what has occurred and why, but we know the physical side of it at least. But we'll leave that up to the race review committee. We're not going to talk about it much more here. If we get a chance later on, might have a word with Brett Campbell if he's available, and perhaps see if he's got the idea what happened. It could have been a wheel failure. It could have been anything. We don't know. But there was definitely steering movement there towards the left-hand side and contacting Adamson John, which is basically wrecked his car. So whether he's actually called it a night, I don't know. I wouldn't blame him, but it'd be great to see him continue out there. There's a long way to go, and if he can at least maintain being on the lead lap, that's probably one good thing out of it, although that vehicle does look pretty second-hand at the moment, I've got to say. So, so we'll wait and see what eventuates there with Adamson John and what he decides to do. But at the moment, I think he's still sitting in the pits, possibly trying to repair that vehicle as much as possible. And so, maybe if he's going to be there that long, he needs to actually get his engine off. Otherwise, he could cause more damage. But we've gone green while we're talking about that. And the boys are fighting at the front. Richie Sanchez has come out of this in about third place. He's battling for second against both Peter Matson and Gary Wellman. And Tristan Koch managed to get the lead out of that one, and he's now battling side by side against Peter Matson. So one of these guys is going to get to the nose in front and take the lead of this one. Tristo's putting up a hell of a fight on the outside there, and Richie Sanchez in behind Peter Matson wants that lead back. He had it for a fair while and wants it back. He's not happy with sitting behind anybody, and that's fair enough too. He's got Craig Roffey in behind him, and Roffey's going to want to finish the pointy end again this week and continue that lead on the championship. Something we didn't actually look at the start of the broadcast was our current top 10 for the series, so we'll have to have a look at it later. But for the moment, just taking a look at who's where in this pack. As we look at Peter Matson leading from Richie Sanchez and Tristan Koch, then Craig Roffey, Gary Wellman, and it looks like Luke Keamy on the inside line there at the moment in that brightly coloured, pinky purpley coloured full bore Commodore. So he's putting in the hard yards there at the moment. But Andy Barber still running towards the rear of field there at the moment. So not quite sure what's going on with Andy. He could just be biding his time. There is a long way to go. We've still got 59 minutes of racing to go. So we'll see what the boys can do with that. Tony Roffey I saw running on the inside line there about mid-pack. and he'll be pretty happy with where he is at the moment. He's having a fairly clean run, and he knows there's a long way to go. So we've still got nearly an hour of this one, 58 minutes on the clock, as we see Richie Sanchez and Peter Matson side by side for the lead of this one. Tristan Koch up on the outside, just keeping an eye on things at the moment to see what eventuates. And in behind Richie Sanchez on that inside line is Craig Roffey, our winner from both rounds 1 and 2. Our only winner for the championship for this series so far, the Summer Series 2024-25. And we continue to see Richie leading just in front of Pete Matson. And there's Parry Anastakis now. And he's throwing his hat in the ring for this one. Moved down to the inside line behind Sanchez. And he's actually keeping an eye on how things are going. He'll follow Sanchez through there. And if there's a bit of draft there, I'd say the two of these guys will pull ahead of Matson, who actually has Adam Malone in behind him. So Adam giving Matson a bit of a push and the benefit of some draft. There's a little bit of a gap between Sanchez and Anastakis at the moment, so probably not getting the full benefit of the draft, but Anastakis better just to close that gap as we go down to the 58th minute of this 75-minute race. And so lots of time to go, lots of laps to go. We are actually on lap 29 at the moment. So let's take a look at the weather conditions out there. We'll get them popped up on the screen so we can see what we're looking at the moment. So it's not a bad night out there. 68 degrees air temp, Fahrenheit, and 70 degrees track temp. So that's not too bad. It's down in the low 20s somewhere Celsius on the track temp. And there's only a gentle breeze really from the southeast of just over 6 miles per hour. And sky conditions in Nevada are clear. Las Vegas, Nevada, Sin City, and beautiful racing out there under lights at the moment as we see Parry Anastakis and Richie Sanchez. They are side by side battling for the lead. Adam Malone's now poked his nose up into behind them there for third place, and Peter Matson still battling there inside the top 4, and Craig Roffey rounding out the top 5 at the moment. Tristan Koch on the outside in 6th position, as the boys still give each other a bit of racing room, and we got lots of good racing here at the moment. Some good clean stuff going on as Parry Anastakis gets his nose in front, and we've got Richie Sanchez still fighting back on the inside, side by side. Richie will get his nose in front, but Parry's not giving it up too easily. And Peter Matson say, yeah, hang on, I was up there a minute ago. I'm still here, don't worry about it. Adam Malone, don't count him out at the moment. I said that at the top of the broadcast. And his blinking issues appear to have sorted themselves out, which they generally seem to do. So not quite sure what the situation with the internet there is for Adam Malone, but that's pretty normal to see that happen. And it sorts itself out throughout the race. So Adam gets a chance to sit there. He's actually in 3rd place at the moment, with Peter Matson 4th and Tristan Koch in 5th place, as Craig Roffey drops back out of the top 5. And we've got a lot of great racing going on right throughout the field at the moment. So we're just going to keep an eye on this at the moment, just taking a look at what's happening at rear of field. Andy Barber still chasing up the tail there, but he's in pretty good company because Gary Wellman's dropped back there and Scott McClintock as well. They've all run towards the front, especially Wellman and McClintock, and dropped back and just basically biding their time at the moment. There's a bit of strategy in it here, and with the track temp down, we don't have to worry too much about tyre degradation, although Vegas can be a bit hard on rubber if you don't get the line right. We take a look at Parry Anastakis now in the lead of this one ahead of Richie Sanchez, who was also ahead of Adam Malone, and Peter Matson running around mid-track at the moment as a threat to Adam Malone, but he's sitting in 4th. Tristan Koch in 5th, but he's got Craig Roffey on the inside, and Roffey's going to want to get back inside this top 5, and so he takes gets the nose in front and takes that 5th spot away from Tristan Koch. Taking a look at Phil Otto there at the moment in that 310 red Kingsman Racing Mustang. And great to see Phil out there and pushing hard. Luke Keamy getting a little bit loose there in behind Craig Roffey. Might have gotten a little bit of a touch from Tony Roffey in behind in that yellow road car. And on the outside there is, I think, Troy Mortensen and Brett Campbell on the outside line. As we take a look at McClintock, Wellman and Barber taking up the rear of the field. Biding their time, that's the 45, the 20 and the 016, I believe. But at the moment, we're still seeing that 060 car. Oh, pardon me, blinking in and out. I'll just grab a mouthful of water, folks, sorry. But Parry-Aristarchus continues to lead this for Richie Sanchez, Adam Malone, Peter Matson, Tristan Koch, and Phil Otto up there now inside that top six with Craig Roffey dropping back a little. And I think that's Troy Mortensen on the outside there battling with Phil Otto. And he's actually, they're getting a little bit too close there, the 83 and the 310. But Troy Mortensen mid-track. Phil Otto moves to the outside line, gives a bit of room to Troy Mortensen. Phil knows his stuff and he knows there's a long way to go. We've still got more than 52 minutes on the race clock here at the moment. So we're going to see what the boys can do with that. They've been going for around about 20 or nearly 25 minutes so far, about 23 minutes. And there's been some great racing and a single caution so far when Brett Campbell and Adamson John came together. And Adamson John obviously in the pits trying to repair the vehicle and has probably given up by now and put it on the transporter. But that's fine. Ryan Andrews, who we've actually got sitting in 10th place, I believe. There he is, number 74, Ryan Andrews from the US. In the Inside Lane Productions car and Team TWRS, I believe, sponsorship on that one as well. And haven't seen much of Ryan tonight, but there he is. He's in a pretty good spot at the moment. He's sitting in behind Brett Campbell from Quantum Motorsport, and that's who we don't have here tonight. Aidan Schulz from Quantum. Haven't seen him tonight, so didn't make the grid. But that's fine. 45, Gary Wellman, he's moved his way from the tail end of the field back up to mid-pack, and he's given Ryan Andrews all sorts of grief there at the moment. Ryan's fighting off Gary Wellman with Craig Roffey on the inside line in behind Troy Mortensen. But that's a great battle that's happening there mid-pack. Luke Keamy sitting in behind that one, and Phil Otto and Brett Campbell keeping their noses fairly clean there on the outside at the front of the field. But Parry-Aristarchus continues to lead this from Richie Sanchez as Parry moves towards the outside a little bit, where Phil Otto, I think, was actually going to make a line around the outside, but Parry sort of cut that off for him. Pete Matson still sitting there in the middle row. So we are three wide here at Las Vegas with Phil Otto, Parry-Aristarchus, Richie Sanchez, Peter Matson, Brett Campbell, and Adam Malone, that front six. And they're pretty much three wide there at the moment, doing what they've got to do. Parry-Aristarchus got very close to the that front left corner of Phil Otto's car, very close to him. He needs to keep that a little bit cleaner as Phil Otto manages to actually avoid him and goes to right to the outside to actually leave a bit of racing room there as we come down to 49 minutes, under 50 minutes race time left. And we've got still got them three wide at the front of this field, and we're on lap 44 at the moment, folks. And there's some fantastic racing happening here. We're going to take a quick commercial break, pay some sponsors' dues, and we'll be back in just a moment. Keep an eye on this one. Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We've got a lot of action going on the track at the moment. Brett Campbell making his presence felt there. He gave a little bit of a rub up to Phil Otto, so a bit of a butt clench factor of about 8 on that one, I think. And we pull on the race suit out of his butt, from between his butt cheeks, Phil Otto, when he gets out of the car. So a lot going on here at the moment. Brett Campbell, he's really pushing his luck here. And he's been rubbing the wall, rubbing the other cars, and just letting everybody know he's pushing to get towards the front as Parianastakis takes the lead back there at the moment. He's side by side with Phil Otto, and word from the pits is Adam St. John has rejoined the race after lengthy repairs. No, he's still in the pits, unfortunately. So Tristo pitted apparently, and around about lap 45, 46, Tristo pitted. And just taking a look at the socials here at the moment, and what have we got? Just a couple of comments here. Good luck from Full Bore Racing. And I'd say that's Adam St. John. He's not too happy about that 16 minutes optional repairs. And, that was a nice welcome back. Unfortunately for Adam St. John, yes. And the race review will take a look at that. That's not really any consolation to you, mate, unfortunately. So very, very sad to see that happen and see you go out that way. But we'll get back to the racing at the moment as we take a look at Troy Mortensen giving Parianastakis a good push. But as far as Full Bore's concerned, Luke Keamy still pushing hard out there. And like I said, long way to go. Exactly 46 minutes on the clock. And the boys still running pretty much 3 wide, almost going 4 wide. Troy Mortensen with what must have been a completely unnecessary move. And he's absolutely tagged multiple cars out there. So we will take a look at what happened there in just a moment on the replay. So Mortensen coming down in between Brett Campbell and Peter Matson, and then gets himself right up behind Parianastakis, and then gets himself, for some reason he makes a move to the left here. He goes to the right, goes to the left, and then goes back to the left here in a moment and actually tags Richie Sanchez. So that's probably something Richie didn't deserve. Anastakis gets a bit close to Sanchez, but then, Mortensen all over the back of the rear bar of Anastakis, bounces off Sanchez and up into Phil Otto. And then we've got Anastakis into Otto. Brett Campbell's the only one that managed to actually miss that. And I think we missed there, but I think Mortensen's also come down into Luke Keamy and Michael Ladder. So, a big one there from Troy Mortensen, unfortunately. That's a big faux pas. Richie Sanchez's car looks like it's come out of it without too much heavy damage. Hopefully it's only light damage. Scott McClintock trying to keep it off the wall and out of trouble, but he ends up backing it into the concrete. So a lot of damage in a lot of cars out there. So we'll wait and see what actually eventuates after this caution. We're going to take a quick ad break. We'll come back and we'll take a look at our top 10 while we're under caution. Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and we are at round 3 of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing League's Summer Series for 2024-25. Round 3. 3 more to go after this one. It's a fortnightly series, so we'll be back in 2 weeks. But there's plenty of excitement out there at the moment. We're down to about 42 and a half minutes on the race clock, and we've taken 54 laps to get there and had 2 cautions so far. But we'll take a look, since we didn't get a chance to look at it at the top of the broadcast, just taking a look at the series points thus far. And your top 10 is Craig Roffey in first place with 85 points, then Gary Wellman in second on 70, Parianastakis 64, Cade Donnelly on 61, he's not here tonight, Adam Malone on 60, Troy Davidson on 59, Tony Roffey on 56, and then we've got Rick Vincent and Shannon Wright both on 51, and so that's your 8th and 9th, or equal 8th. And 10th place, Michael Ladder, who's having a couple of issues out there, blinking in and out, and he's just been an innocent bystander in that accident there caused by Troy Mortensen on 44 points. That's your top 10 for the championship series so far, and after 2 rounds, and this is of course round 3, so the positions here tonight will move around a bit again. Adam Malone will probably move up a spot if he gets a decent finishing position, as Kate Donnelly, who's ahead of him in the championship, is not here tonight. And there's Gary Wellman, our second place guy at the moment, our Series 1 champion, second place in the series behind Craig Roffey, who has won both rounds so far. So we'll see how we go. 41 minutes on the clock, and Gary Wellman's out of the pits and trying to get around onto the back of the field. The pace car still leads them around. He's going pretty hard there at it at the moment, but I think he'll make it. He's got a fair bit of speed up, and the cars are still, I think, behind the pace car. If we take a look at the leaders, we'll certainly find out what the situation is, and the pace car lights are out. Adam Malone will lead the field away with Peter Matson on the outside, Ryan Andrews and Craig Roffey on that second row, and then Michael Ladder and Andy Barber round out the front 3 rows, the top 6 for this one. The pace car will pull off in just a moment, and we'll see that Gary Wellman will actually make it all the way around. He's carrying a lot of speed. These guys are only doing about 72 miles per hour, and the pace car pulls off as we take a look at the bunch up again now. Adam Malone will lead the field away. He's got command of it as he blinks in and out again. They'll cross the line, and Adam will get a decent start as he blinks in and out once more. And Craig Roffey, and side by side with Peter Matson, behind them is Andy Barber and Ryan Andrews in that 74 car from the US. Tony Roffey in behind that, and Richie Sanchez, who was a bit of collateral damage in that last caution period, the last incident, and he's actually still out there at the moment. The car looks fairly straight. He managed to not carry too much damage out of that. And I think on his outside there might actually be, I think that might have actually been Scott McClintock on the outside line, side by side with Richie Sanchez. We'll have a look at that in just a moment. No, it was Michael Ladder, Scotty McClintock back a couple of spots in front of Parianastakis and in behind Brett Campbell at the moment. So back to the front of the field, and we've got Adam Malone in the lead, and Peter Matson challenging for it. Richie Sanchez on the outside. Andy Barber on the outside. And he's actually also challenging his teammate there for second place as Peter Matson takes the lead of this one. And Craig Roffey in behind them. Richie Sanchez rounds out your top 5 at the moment. So a bit more blinking from one of the Southern Stars cars there, the number 3 of Adam Malone, with Mish's XL Garage, who are involved in sponsorship of the real life Hyundai XL series. got to see some of that. There's some fantastic racing in that series, no matter what cars they are and, you know, how quick or slow they may be. Some fantastic side-by-side racing in that series. So everything's simulated, who sponsors the Oz Oval Series, also involved in that one in real life. And there was some fantastic racing there from the Bend Motorsport Park, which has been recently scanned by iRacing. So we will get that one eventually for some of the road racing series, especially with the Gen 3 cars. That should be fantastic stuff. A lot of people looking forward to that sort of thing. We're also awaiting other Aussie tracks, such as Adelaide, and I think there's a couple of others that have been scanned recently, and a couple of NZ tracks, I believe, that were scanned a while back. I'm pretty sure they scanned Pukekohe, but no sign of it in iRacing as yet, so not quite sure what's happening with that. It's on the list. It's on the to-do list, people, and we will get it sooner or later as Richie Sanchez takes the lead back for Peter Matson. So recovering nicely from that last incident is Richie Sanchez, gets his nose back to the front, and he's got Brett Campbell on his outside. So a bit of a nervous time there. They're running almost 3 wide at the moment, and he drops down to the inside line in front of Matson with Brett Campbell on the outside, and he's actually got Andy Barber in behind him. And coming down mid-track is Adam Malone and Craig Roffey at the moment. So it's still fairly exciting stuff right there at the front, and some fantastic racing right through the field there at the moment, as we see Scotty McClintock also moving up with Tristan Koch. I think that is behind him, and that's going to be a great battle there with Gary Wellman just on the outside there, bit more than mid-pack, and he's now moved down to the inside line. Sorry. So outside to inside, Richie Sanchez continues to lead, and he's actually done the same. He's moved down to that inside line as we continue through 35 minutes to go of this one at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're on lap 64. We'll take it a quick ad break, and we'll be back in a moment.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, everything simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service interests and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series 2024 Summer Series. And we are at round 3 here at Las Vegas, and we have plenty happening. Adam St. John has rejoined the field. Luke Keamy has managed to get some repairs done, and he's back out there. And Ryan Andrews, who got caught up in that last incident a while back, has actually visited the pits, and he's still parked in there. Whether he's getting repairs or whether he's called it, I'm not quite sure. Don't have the word on that one yet from the pits. But we've got Richie Sanchez continues to lead this one from Peter Matson. And third place, obviously, is Adam Malone from Southern Stars. So he's going to pick up some good points if he can keep this going. We've got 30 minutes and 37 seconds left on the race clock as we see Phil Otto also dropping back about 2 or 3 laps now, because he got caught up in that incident when Troy Mortensen came together with a couple of the other front runners, Richie Sanchez being one of them, as well as Parry Anastakis and Phil Otto. Brett Campbell, probably the luckiest man out there at the moment, and managed to avoid that, I think. And he should have been caught up right in the middle of it, because he was right smack behind it all happening, and seemed to manage to actually miss getting involved. So good luck there to good luck and good driving to Brett Campbell. So some great stuff to hear that Brett managed to avoid that, as far as I'm aware. But he's dropped back in position, so he might have been repairing some other damage, maybe put it into the wall in an attempt to actually miss the accident. As we see Tristan Koss still on the outside there, but Richie Sanchez continues to lead this. And I wouldn't say he's comfortable, though. He's got a flock of other drivers there behind him wanting his position. And some of them now making their move with only 29 minutes on the clock left of this race. And the guys who have hung back tonight are now on lap 76 deciding to make their move, not the least of which is Gary Wellman, sitting in 5th place at the moment behind Michael Latta. So we've got Sanchez, Matson, lost track of where I was. Sanchez, Matson, Malone, Latta, and Wellman. As we took a look at the full bore cars there of Adam St. John and Luke Keamy, they're still circulating, although a little bit down, but it's good to see him out there. Keamy just giving the wall a bit of a rub. I'm not quite sure what that was all about, but he drops in behind his teammate, Adam St. John, who spent a lengthy period of time in the pits. He's 6 laps down, and he's just circulating, trying to get it done. This is a championship, so he's picking up points, as we see Phil Otto there running around on his own and just wanting to get through this. Only 28 minutes left to go, and they'll be just looking to get whatever points they can out of this, so that they can pile up points on the top 10. and a lot of those guys who are suffering at the moment running in the top 10 or just outside it. So they'll be looking to get as many points as they can out of this one. And Richie Sanchez looking like he's going to get a good haul of points tonight. Don't want to jinx him too much, but he's got Peter Matson behind him, then Adam Malone and Michael Latta in behind there, still having that blinking issue popping in and out. And Wellman won't be too impressed with seeing that in front of him, because it's a very nervous time when the car in front of you is doing that, because you don't know where he's going to reappear. We went over it earlier when we were looking at Adam Malone's blinking issue, and Michael Latta's been doing it pretty much a whole race. But we've got Brett Campbell in the pits at the moment with 27 minutes to go. We're on lap 80. We've clicked over lap 80. So with about 27 minutes to go, we're probably looking at about 125 laps for this one at Las Vegas Motor Speedway as Brett Campbell continues to pit. I don't know where he's in there a long time. I don't know what's actually happening as far as that's concerned. He might be repairing some damage, but that will push him down. He's 5 laps down now as Richie Sanchez leads the field around one more time with Peter Matson in behind him and Adam Malone in third. Then Michael Latta, Gary Wellman, and I think he's actually got Tony Roffey in behind him. And just taking a look at the positions there. Yep, Tony Roffey in behind Gary Wellman. So 6th place is Tony Roffey in that yellow Rogue Simsport Commodore as Sanchez continues to lead from Matson, Malone, Latta and Wellman. And we'll just take a bit of a quick look. Oh, there's Scotty McClintock there coming in behind Craig Roffey. So sitting in and around about 8th position there at the moment, Scott McClintock in that 016 Mobile 1 Commodore. And we'll take a bit of a look at what's happening at the rear of field at the moment and see who we've got there. As we take a look at Phil Otto, Adam St. John, we've got Tristan Koch there at the moment as well. Troy Mortensen 2 laps down, so he's still circulating out there somewhere. Parry Anastakis in 9th, and Tristan Koch 11th, Luke Keamy 12th, Phil Otto 13th, Adam St. John, of course. It says he's 20 seconds off, but he's actually about 6 laps down. So unfortunately, because he got caught up through no fault of his own with Brett Campbell in the early laps there. So they're just trying to finish this one and get a fistful of points so that they can get themselves up the ladder. It is a championship, 3 more rounds to go after this one, and they just want to pick up as many points as they can. As we take another look at the front, Richie Sanchez continues to lead from Peter Matson and Adam Malone. That's your 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Michael Latta sitting in 4th and Gary Wellman in 5th. So that rounds out the top 5 at this point. Tony Roffey there in 6th. Craig Roffey, our winner from rounds 1 and 2, sitting in 7th place at the moment. Scotty McClintock challenging for that top 7, right in behind Craig Roffey. As we see Andy Barber still towards the rear of field there at the moment with Tristan Koch and Phil Otto desperately trying to get himself around the track. And it looks like he's actually going to get lapped again by the pack. He's got them coming down right on his neck. So unfortunately for Phil Otto, it looks like he may go another lap down as we take a look at Michael Latta there managing to hold off Gary Wellman with 24 minutes on the clock. And that puts us up on around lap 86. So 23 minutes, to go. And Gary Wellman hasn't quite made his move yet. I'm expecting to see it at some point in the next, probably the last 10 minutes, I'd say. Probably about another 10 or 12 minutes. And we're waiting to see what happens as far as green flag pit stops are concerned. I've got a feeling a few guys are going to need to. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. As Craig Roffey shuts the door on Scott McClintock, and he's got Parry Anastakis in behind him. Phil Otto moves to the outside and drops another lap, unfortunately for Phil. And he was running really strongly at the front there earlier till he got caught up in that incident with Troy Mortensen, Parry Anastakis and Richie Sanchez. So he's dropped to the back of the queue now at the moment. and he'll just continue to circulate, get this one finished and get it out of the way. As we click down to 23 minutes, and we are under 23 minutes now on the race clock, as Richie Sanchez continues to lead from Peter Matson, Adam Malone, Michael Latta and Gary Wellman. We'll see what the temperature's doing out there at the moment, see if there's been any real changes in the track temp, because these guys are running pretty well, but no, it's holding fairly steady. It hasn't changed since the early stages of the race. 68 degrees air temp and 70 degrees track temp, but the wind direction's now changed. It was blowing from the south-southeast, now blowing from the east. Speed's about the same. It's a bit over 5 miles per hour, and the sky conditions are still clear here in Las Vegas, Nevada. So the 1.5 miler here, 2.41 kilometres in Sin City, as Richie Sanchez continues to lead this one from Peter Matson, and Adam Malone still holding down third, but he's now got Michael Latta a whole lot closer to him, and Gary Wellman still rounding out that top 5. He's actually got a couple of the Roffies in there behind him. So Tony Roffey is mounting another challenge to Gary Wellman there at the moment. As the boys come around to complete another lap, they'll actually pull round past the pit entry, across the stripe, and we'll get us down to 21 minutes race time left to go. And Matson mounts a challenge on the outside of Sanchez there at the moment, virtually side by side, but Sanchez has not given this one up without a fight. And Matson's going to have to earn this, I'm afraid, as Adam Malone moves down along the inside line. Michael Latta, I think it is, goes up higher to about mid-track, still blinking in and out, but looking for any advantage whatsoever in all this, and any opportunity he can. He drops back down to the inside line in front of Gary Wellman, and Wellman continues to round out that top 5 with Tony Roffey in behind him in 6th. Side by side now between the 5 and the 173. That is Matson in the lead with Sanchez. They're swapping positions back and forward. Sanchez has now taken the lead back again. So a lot of swapping back and forward. We'll take a look at the lead changes at the moment, which might be interesting for this race. I know round 1 we had 40, and then I think it was 29 for round 2. We've completed 92 laps. We've had 17 lead changes and 2 cautions for 3 laps. So that's an interesting statistic. 17 lead changes. We seem to be getting less and less each week with the lead changes as these guys settle into the series. But Sanchez has led quite a number of these laps at the moment, up to 71 and back to 70 again. Track temp moving around just a little bit as we continue with that 6 mile per hour wind from the east here in Las Vegas. We're going to take a quick break. We've got 19 minutes on the clock, and we're going to see what we can do with that as Richie Sanchez continues to lead from Pete Matson, Adam Malone, Michael Latta and Gary Wellman.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, everything simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Welcome back to round 3 of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing League Summer Series 2024 here at Las Vegas, Nevada, as we go for some green flag pit stops with 17 minutes race time left on the clock and approaching the 100 lap mark. We're on about lap 99, I think, at the moment, and we've got Peter Matson in the lead, and most of the leaders have actually just pitted. We saw Gary Wellman as well as Richie Sanchez. Peter Matson now pitting. So obviously this is fuel, possibly tyres. We'll have to ask the guys how the tyre wear was out there tonight, but it's probably going to be fuel at least, and maybe tyres with 16 minutes, or under 17 minutes on the clock. And we'll see what the boys can do with it. That's probably going to hurt Pete Matson pitting so late. Would have been advisable for him to come in with the other guys who are actually just passing the pits now. So I think with Michael Ladder, Richie Sanchez and Gary Wellman definitely came in. As we take a look at Michael Ladder there, who's still blinking in and out. And Michael is actually, we got, was that Pariana Starkis has come into the pits. And somebody else came out of the pits or through the pits, but I'm not quite sure. It was Tony Roffey, I think, actually also coming in. So the Rogue boys now pitting, and Pariana Starkis overshoots his pit bay, with Craig Roffey also sitting in there, of course, in the number 1 pit bay because he started on pole. So we're just taking a look at the Rogue team getting all that sorted out. No Rick Vincent tonight, unfortunately, and these things happen. People have got things to do in real life, and it is that part of the year where there's parties and family get-togethers and all sorts of stuff with the summer weather coming into gear. So we take a look at Luke Keamy at the moment with Adamson, Johnny's teammate, behind him, as the full bore boys continue to run around here. 15 minutes left as Tony Roffey re-enters the track. Phil Otto on the outside there. Phil's about 7 laps down at the moment. Michael Ladder now pitted and come back through again. I'm pretty sure he pitted earlier, but maybe I was wrong. Might have been another vehicle. I thought he came in when Richie Sanchez came in, but apparently not. He's just leaving the pitch now. Tony Roffey has actually taken the lead of this one in the 85 car, and he's actually got his teammates with him, or at least one of them, in Craig Roffey. Adam Malone back up to 3rd place again, with Andy Barber up to 4th. So you've got the 2 Southern Stars cars, and Michael Ladder re-enters in 5th place at the moment, as we take a look at how this field is actually sorting itself out now, with 14 minutes to go and a round of green flag pit stops. Phil Otto sticking to that outside and keeping out of everybody's way, just wants to finish this, pick up whatever points he can salvage out of it. As I said before, very unfortunate, and just got caught up in a couple of incidents with a couple of other cars there earlier. And good day to Brett Campbell and Troy Mortensen, who are commenting in the YouTube live chat at the moment. And Brett insisting that the wheel was straight when he actually made contact. But if he takes a look at the replay in the broadcast, I think he might see what we saw. And that's unfortunate. So that's the way iRacing played it. So that's the way we announced it. As Tony Roffey drops back in behind Craig Roffey at the moment. And the Rogue Boys 1-2 with Adam Malone and Andy Barber, Southern Stars, in 3rd and 4th. So that's your top 4, and in a fairly healthy gap back to, I think that's Pete Matson in the 173 car at the moment. And Pete, great to have Pete back. He missed a few rounds through health reasons, but great to have him back and on track each week. And he's enjoying his racing again now that he's got the opportunity. So he's very much on the mend. So that's fantastic stuff. And getting out there and mixing it up. And he's having a pretty decent race at the moment, currently sitting in 5th position. And we take a look at who's actually sitting in behind him at the moment, as the top 4 continue to dominate this with Rogue and Southern Stars. And in behind Pete Matson is, I'm just trying to take a look at the thing at the moment, Gary Wellman back there, and Richie Sanchez in 7th, Michael Latta 8th. So we go back towards the rear of field. Adam St. John still circulating out there, but he's about 27 laps down now because of those repairs that he required. Parry Anastakis rounds out the top 10 behind Scott McClintock in 9th. So fairly mixed up field tonight. And once again, a lot of lead changes, but I think it's less than what we've seen the first couple of rounds. As I said, 29 in round 2 at Kentucky and 40 lead changes in the first round at Texas. So the boys are a little bit more settled. The guys are leading more laps in this round as the series goes on. And, Adam Malone and Craig Roffey playing a very dangerous game there at the moment as they get very, very close to one another. Adam Malone and now trying to split the road cars as they run virtually 3 wide. And, a little bit of contact there between Adam Malone and Tony Roffey. And a little bit of rough stuff coming up from the Southern Stars boys, a bit of push and shove. They get fairly serious about wanting those podium spots and taking the positions away from the Rogue Sim Sports guys. So Craig Roffey now has, I think, dropped right back to about 6th position. So not quite sure what's happened to Craig Roffey there. I didn't see any contact. I know the boys got pretty close, but didn't see any contact. But it certainly looked like Adam Malone contacted Tony Roffey there, because Tony Roffey's 85 yellow Commodore certainly big movement in the rear end of that one. And I think that was just a bit of contact from Adam Malone. As Pete Matson follows Tony Roffey through, battling for that 2nd position against Adam Malone. And I think that's Roffey coming into the pits now. Yep, Tony Roffey's actually going to pit, and he's got about 10 minutes on the race clock. So it's an interesting move. There's a strange strategy to pit this close to the end when most of the other leaders have pitted some time ago. So they're right until the end, I believe, as we see Peter Matson in the lead. Adam Malone's just taken that back off him. Oh, he's got a drive-through penalty. Okay, so that's sort of answers a couple of questions. A little bit strange there. I wonder what he must have gotten a speeding in the pits penalty or something, and got a drive-through for that. So very unfortunate for Tony Roffey, who was in lead of that race, and it was on incident points. Unfortunately, he's passed the initial 12 incident points and gotten himself a drive-through. So very unfortunate. I think there might have been the contact from Adam Malone that really sort of pushed it to that point. So it will be interesting to see what happens from this point on, as Peter Matson has his nose in front from Adam Malone. Richie Sanchez back in the fight for the lead, with Gary Wellman on the outside, and then Craig Roffey up to 4th, and Andy Barber in 5th position, rounding out that top 5. And I think that's Michael Latta in 7th place. And it certainly is, yes, as the Simrigs Commodore. So 8 minutes left on the clock, nearly 9. And we take a look at how many laps that is at the moment. And I think we're looking at 114 laps completed at this point, with only 8.5 minutes on the race clock. And Peter Matson continues to lead. Richie Sanchez in behind him. And there's a fair old battle on the outside there with Malone, Wellman, Roffey, and Craig Roffey, and Andy Barber. And then Michael Latta in behind them there, just waiting for an opportunity to move up. But Richie Sanchez not prepared to give up on this one, and hangs on the back of Peter Matson's Commodore, as the two of those occupy that inside line. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens as we take a look from Andy Barber's point of view, who's sitting in 6th place at the moment. Craig Roffey in 5th, Gary Wellman sitting in behind him as Sanchez makes his move, and the boys go 3 wide there briefly as he's side by side with Peter Matson at the moment. He's actually looking to take that lead away, and as he crosses the line, Matson still manages to hold the lead with that nose just in front of Sanchez. But Sanchez is still side by side with Matson there, and he's wanting that position. As he comes around, I think Sanchez will get his nose in front here, and he does. But can he hold it? Matson, he's going to fight back from the inside line, and that's going to give him an advantage. And he's actually going to take that lead position back again. And Sanchez back to second, side by side. This is going to be an arm wrestle here for the last few minutes. 7 minutes on the race clock as Sanchez side by side with Matson. Matson's got Wellman right behind him, and Sanchez has Craig Roffey right behind him, and Adam Malone sitting back there in 5th. And he's got Andy Barber on his outside, who's actually got a slight gap over Michael Ladder. So the 173 versus the 5, that's Phil Otto there still circulating in the 310 car, the Kingsman Racing Mustang. As we take a look at side by side still, lap after lap. This is Peter Matson versus Richie Sanchez. But you've got Craig Roffey and Gary Wellman obviously wanting to get to the front. They're biding their time at the moment. We know both these guys can get to the front on the last lap and slingshot. So this is going to be interesting as Roffey continues to push Sanchez on that midline, and Wellman sitting in behind helping Peter Matson at the moment. But I think Wellman's looking for a way through. Sanchez shuts the door on that one. There was a gap there between them, and Sanchez has moved down the track. Now there's a slight gap. Sanchez leaving just a little gap there, then moves back down onto it again before he goes back up to that midline. And I think we'll keep a very close eye on this battle because these guys are running very close to one another. Adam Malone sitting back there in 5th, and he's obviously praying for a way past these guys to get back on the podium. Sanchez and Matson side by side battling for first position as we come down to 5 minutes on the clock, 5.5, as Matson, 173, continues to battle against the number 5 driven by Richie Sanchez of the US. We've lost a few along the way in this one, and a few guys who dropped back multiple laps through repairs. Phil Otto there, unfortunately, one of them as he goes down another lap, while Craig Roffey and Sanchez continue to operate in that midline, and Pete Matson and Gary Wellman right down on that white line on the inside line with less than 5 minutes on the clock. So we've got around about 8 or 9 laps to go here as Pete Matson still battles Richie Sanchez for the lead of this one, and Roffey and Wellman taking up the second row, pushing these guys forward, but also wanting a piece of this themselves, and really, really hoping for a way past. So this is going to be interesting. Who's actually going to get the podium spot here as we come down to 4.5 minutes, and we're looking at lap 122. So we're going to hit that 125 without a problem, as the pack here continues to close in on the full bore boys who are a few laps down. Adam St. John, of course, around about 26, 27 laps down, but the pack is closing on them, and it's now only a visible difference from the leaders to the tail enders in those lap cars. So Richie Sanchez continuing side by side battle with Peter Matson in the 173, and both those guys still have Gary Wellman and Craig Roffey pushing them along. Adam Malone sitting in 5th position, and he's got his teammate Andy Barber just on the outside around that mid-track area, and Michael Ladder in behind him. So all these guys wanting a clean finish, but they want the best possible finish, and so it's going to be interesting to see what happens on this last couple of laps as Adam St. John, he's going to pit it. He's not actually going to see it across the line, I think. Not quite sure what's going on there, but we've got about 5 or 6 laps to go, and it looks as though he's getting fuel. Might even throw tyres on. He knows he's not going to finish at the pointy end. He just wants to get through it and finish. So we'll see Adam get across the line, and that's good stuff. My hat's off to him for continuing. So we continue to see Peter Matson now. Side-by-side battle with Richie Sanchez just continues as Adam St. John leaves the pits, and the pack will pass him and put him another lap down. Wellman and Craig Roffey in that second row. Adam Malone continues in fifth, Andy Barber in sixth, and Michael Ladder in seventh. But not much has changed here on the positions. 2.5 minutes to go as Matson gets his nose in front, Sanchez in second. Will be very interesting to see what happens. We've got about 3 or 4 laps to go here as we continue round 3 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway here in Nevada on a very comfortable night this evening. It's around about 70, 71 degrees track temp and about 67, 68 degrees on the air temperature. So that's a fairly comfortable night. But the boys certainly under 2 minutes now. And this is just a fantastic finish. If these guys can keep it clean from this point on, this is going to be a fantastic finish. Wellman and Roffey battling for that podium spot. There's not going to be a whole lot in it. He continues to push Peter Matson along. And Roffey giving a big push to Richie Sanchez. So these two guys at the front benefiting from the battle for the final podium spot between Wellman and Craig Roffey as Adam Malone and his teammate continue to sit there battling for fifth and Michael Ladder hoping to pull a seventh or sixth out of this, depending on what happens, as Barber continues his charge and moves ahead of his teammate Adam Malone. So Barber up to fifth now, and Adam Malone back to sixth. Adam St. John has entered the track at the convenient spot there and sits at the back of this lead pack, and Michael Ladder sitting in behind Adam Malone as we go under 1 minute now, folks. So we are probably looking at going to the final lap this time around, and I would say that's the case. As they cross the line, we should get the white flag with 40 seconds on the clock as they cross the line right now. And we go 35 seconds. There will be one more lap, unfortunately. There you go. That's crossed the line now. So this will be the last lap. And there is the white flag. I was getting a little bit ahead of myself with the marks on the track. I thought they were crossing the line a bit ahead of where they were. But we've got side by side 173 versus 5 and 45 versus 30. Oh, Richie Sanchez, a big dive down. I think he was trying to avoid. He saw Adam Malone on his outside. They're 4 wide now, and Wellman gets loose, and they're 3 wide coming across the line, Sanchez and Matson, and they will cross the line. I think Adam Malone has won this from Sanchez and Matson. Adam Malone takes victory at round 3 with Richie Sanchez second. A very rough finish there for the podium spots. It's just elevated Peter Matson up to second place. I think Richie Sanchez might have gotten a penalty for excessive incidents because he has disappeared.
That was crazy.
Back to 10th place. It's Rick, actually. Yeah, Rick's come into the channel because we're not actually in the booth. So, we are still live at the moment, though, as we watch Adam Malone, Richie Sanchez. While you're with us, what? Yeah, unmute him. We're going to talk to Richie Sanchez now. Rick, what happened at the end there, mate? A little bit rough.
I just turned into a pinball and just bouncing back and forth and just trying to hang on to it as best as I could. And ended up on my door. I
thought you actually had it going across the line there, but with the contact between the car's bouncing back and forward. He lost a little bit of speed. And Adam Malone managed to get his nose in front across the line. So, and unfortunately, I noticed you disappear from the podium positions. So you must have
DQ'd me for incidents.
for incidents. That is very unfortunate, mate. That's very unfortunate. So we'll take a look at the unofficial finishing positions at the moment. And Adam Malone wins from Peter Matson second, and Andy Barber bringing it home in third position. Craig Roffey fourth, Michael Latta fifth, Gary Wellman sixth, Parry Anastakis seventh, Scott McClintock eighth, Tony Roffey ninth, Rick Sanchez back to 10th. And unfortunate, but we take a look at 11th, Tristan Koch, 12th, Luke Keamy, 13th is Phil Otto, 14th, Adam St. John, 15th, Brett Campbell, 16th, Ryan Andrews, very unfortunate for Ryan there, and 17th, Troy Mortensen. So 78 laps down. So that's your finishing order at the moment, and we'll get. We've got Peter Matson in at the moment. We'll see if we can actually get the Southern Stars guys to pop up as well. And we'll go to an ad break, come back, and we'll see if we can organise our podium so that we can do some interviews. Back in a minute.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway in beautiful Nevada. And this is round 3 of the Oz Oval V8 Supercars Oval Racing League Summer Series 2024-25. And that is a mouthful, as we now have our first, second, and fourth place. Unable to actually interview Andy Barber, so congratulations to him. Andy's actually having a mic issue, so a little bit hard to interview him. I can talk, but he won't be able to answer. So we'll actually kick things off with our fourth place getter tonight, Craig Roffey, our winner from round 1 and 2, and fourth place here. So still some handy points. How do you see the race tonight?
Hey fellas, yeah, as you said, I shouldn't be up here, but congrats to Andy and the podium. It was pretty much flat out and just steer it. there wasn't much tyre deg. Maybe very late in the stints, but I didn't find it very bad at all. It was keeping the draft and
And the fuel burn, how was that? Not too bad?
I think it was like 48 laps. I think 42 laps.
Right,
I got
okay.
48. Sorry.
Right. Mate, there was a fair old battle there in those closing laps between yourself and Gary Wellman for that podium spot, but in the end, it actually went to someone else. So, a little bit rough, a little bit push and shove there, but there was an interesting battle between yourself and Gary, both pushing along Richie Sanchez and Peter Matson, and the whole time trying to beat each other out for third place.
Yeah, I love battling Gaz. It's good fun, clean. Unfortunately, he got sideways under the apron, and fell back a little bit.
Unfortunately, that happened, and then a couple of the cars became pinballs and bounced around off each other, and completely changed the whole outcome of the race with Adam being able to get around the outside. So, but look, you led 4 laps, started on pole. So you finished 4th, so you've basically had a pretty decent night after all. I mean, you finished a couple of spots back from where you started, but still good points, still in the top 5, and it'll be interesting to see how the championship standings pan out now. Anybody you want to give a shout out to while you're here?
Firstly, just the Rogue Boys. I shouldn't be up here, so I'm going to say Fiona, Holiday Park, Mrs. Mechanical. All those boys, thanks for coming out. You guys, as always, do a top job.
No worries. 4th place to Craig Roffey. Congratulations, mate, and another successful one. A couple of weeks, I think we either go to, it's either Charlotte next round in 2 weeks' time, right before Christmas. So we'll see how we go with that one, and how the championship turns out off tonight's finish. Also, like I said, congratulations to Andy Barber. Unable to interview him due to a technical hitch, but 3rd place to Andy. So that'll be good points in the championship, and finishing right in behind Peter Matson, who's 2nd place tonight. Congrats, Peter. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Steve. How you going?
Pretty exciting race there, mate. You had a really good long run there, side by side with Richie for the lead. You've led 22 laps tonight, started 7th and ended up 2nd. So that's a pretty good run tonight.
Yeah, no, look, fantastic. And thanks to all the boys. And I know Gaz was pushing me along in the later stages, which was definitely needed. So, but it's nice to be out the front for a change.
Yeah, no, look, you've run really well. You've spent a lot of time at the front. Obviously, as I said, you led 22 laps. Out of, what did we do, 120 something, nearly 130 laps. So a fairly decent run there, and you've certainly got your fair share of laps led. And you certainly didn't give up for a minute. You didn't make it too easy for anybody to actually get in front of you tonight.
No, it was good. Look, I've just watched the replay. I reckon Rick got up, to be honest. But I don't know what you guys think from your end on the replay.
Yeah, iRacing pushed him back with a penalty for excessive incidents.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, that's good. That's good for me. Bad for Rick. But it was great. We had close racing. There was side by side action, which was great, and hopefully the viewers like that. So but overall, really good night. I haven't been up to see you guys for a couple of seasons, 3 seasons. So it's nice to talk to you.
Yeah, mate, while you've got the chance then, since you're on the subject, give some shout outs, say good day to some people.
Oh yeah, mate, I'd like to thank my mum, she's great. But no, everything's simulated. Mate, we can't do it without you. And Inside Lane Productions, mate, I watch the races every week after we finish, and it's a highlight of my my Sunday night, to be honest. So thanks for everyone behind the scenes and stuff as well. So, and especially the other drivers. Without them, we can't do it either.
Yep, exactly right. Without the sponsors and the drivers that turn up, it's going to be pretty boring without them. So congratulations, Pete. Great to see you up on the podium there. Second place tonight in round 3. And we'll see if you can make it back for the next one in 2 weeks' time, right before Christmas. I think it's actually the 22nd, I believe. And that is, I think, Charlotte. I'll have to check, but I think that one's Charlotte. I said it last week, but it is. Okay, I'm right this time. And the producer allowed me to make a goose of myself by saying Charlotte about 5 times last round, but I was wrong. But yeah, so what we'll do is now we're going to talk to Adam Malone, who took out victory here tonight, got his nose across the line. And Adam, tell us, how do you feel about that at the moment?
Yeah, no, that was good. That was a real good race, and it's always clean and whatnot at the end of these races. So I was not expecting that. I was hoping the middle lane would have opened up, but it didn't. So I told Andy I'm going high, and that was it. Here we are.
Well, Andy managed to actually bring it home in 3rd place, so that was really good. So Southern Stars 1-3 there, only split by Peter Matson in the GSRC machine. So so a pretty good finish for the team there too.
Yeah, it was a bit of a struggle to talk to Andy because his mic was having a bit of issues there, but no, it was good. Yeah, 1st and 3rd. That was, you couldn't ask for anything better than that.
Was it a bit of a strategy for you to hold back tonight? You sort of got to the lead there early and then seemed to pull back to around about 5th, 6th, 7th, and you almost seemed happy to actually just hold it there and just see what was happening in front of you. Was that the case, or were we misreading it?
Well, at first I was sitting in 2nd, and then I think Rick came flying up the middle and knocked me out to the side, which put me down to the back there. And I was trying to tell Andy I might just sit and wait until there's a minute or two, and then try to get wait for an opening, and then try to take it. And yeah, you are right. We were just trying to sit patiently and wait, and wait for that gap to open up, and yeah, we just took it.
Yeah, so the conditions out there tonight, it was a bit cooler than it's been the last couple of rounds. Only down around the 70-degree mark on track. With the actual track temp was only about 70, 71 degrees. So a little bit cooler out there tonight. So you find that made a bit of difference to the way the cars drove out there tonight?
Yeah, it did a bit. Like, you could really push kind of reasonably hard. So it wasn't too much wear and tear on the tyres. And it made it a lot easier.
All right, no worries then. All right, well, in that case, obviously you gave your shout-outs, did you?
I think Craig did. But no, I haven't. I'll shout out the sponsors. I'll put a big thanks to Kobe and Steve putting this broadcast on. I'll put a shout out to the wife because I know she's probably going to watch this one. Who we got? Tiona Holiday Park, Mishi SL Garage, RBI Trading Cards, and the Southern Stars Esports team.
Yeah, excellent stuff. I knew somebody mentioned Mish's earlier on. I couldn't remember who it was. But yeah, Craig did it on behalf of Andy, so that was good of him. All right, look, thanks very much, guys. And we'll move on to Charlotte in 2 weeks' time, December 22nd, for anybody that's able to make it. And if you want to get involved, ozoval.wixsite.com/index. On Facebook, you'll find us at OzOval V8SC Racing, and obviously YouTube at as Quasi Esports. And you can subscribe, like, etc. there. Good day to everybody who has actually been in the live chat tonight. So Adam St. John, Luke Keamy, Troy Mortensen, Brett Campbell, and Rick Rat, obviously, that's Richie Sanchez, and Michael Ladder, and Sarah Kay. Good day, Sarah Kay, out there, a regular watcher, and congratulations from her to Adam. And Michael Ladder said, sorry about the internet blinking. Mate, we got there in the end. That's all that matters. And thanks to our sponsors, Everything Simulated, Inside Lane Productions, and Quasi Esports for the YouTube channel. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Charlotte. Check it out. We'll be back then. Thanks for watching.